Ladies and gentlemen, good evening, and welcome to episode 52 of Techfall Tabletalks. I am your host, of course, as always, Julius Grit. Now, today I'm going to cover one of the toughest tournaments in the state of New York, one of the toughest tournaments in the eastern part of the United States. I'm talking about the Eastern States Championships, the return of the Eastern States Championships. We haven't had them in 2 years due to all the COVID restrictions and such, right? But we're back. We're back with it. 2023. Things changed in some of the brackets and such. I'll get into that here. But let's just get right into it. Give you guys my predictions of all the New York wrestlers that are going to win Eastern States titles. And because I'm from New York, I'm gonna predict and assume and hope that every champion is going to be from New York. I don't know if it's happened before, but I hope it happens this weekend. So let's start off with 102 pounds. Dunia Sibomana, Long Beach, Section 8. The 2022 New York State champ at 110 pounds as an 8th grader. I repeat, as an 8th grader. I see him having a good finals match with Wyoming Seminary's Jack Selfies. But he's still going to come out on top. Still coming out on top. 110 pounds. Chris Noto, Onoi Falls, Lima, Section 5. And just a little disclaimer, I'm not going to go into what part of New York every section is in. If you're a New York wrestler watching this, you know already some of the names I'm mentioning. If any of you guys are watching this, obviously you know. People from the Eastern United States, maybe if you know a lot of New York wrestlers, you know, but if you don't, that's fine. You go look it up, like where Section 5, where Section 8. It's not like a big deal to know where. But I will mention if, certain sections are tougher than others, like Section 8, they usually have very tough, phenomenal wrestlers coming out of there, similar with Section 5. But hey, there's great wrestlers from quote-unquote not-so-good sections, and there's some not-so-good wrestlers from great sections. I mean, it's more about the wrestler and less so about where they're from. So that's why I'm not going to explain for anybody listening that's outside New York. Just a little disclaimer there. But let's continue. 110 pounds. Chris Noto. Onoi Falls, Lima, right, Section 5. Historically tough. Yanni Diakomahalis is from there, so that should say enough. Tough bracket. Featuring a very tough 8th grader in Wyoming Seminary's Wyatt Fry. He has a big social media presence, so a lot of people know him based through that. And he's tough. He's definitely tough. Along with a Beast of the East place winner, who's also a Greco World team member, Evan Sinati from Virginia. I actually don't know anything about this kid, but looking at those accolades, you don't get that for no reason, right? But I think Chris is still going to pull it off based on his older brother, Anthony Noto, 4-time New York State champ, Division I wrestler currently. He qualified for the D1 NCAAs, and he upset one of the top 10 wrestlers in the country at the NCAAs. So, I mean, he goes to Lock Haven, So, I mean, having a brother like that, it helps. It's not to be all end all, but it helps. I think based on that, and he's consistently one of the best in New York State in his own right. I predict that Chris Noto can upset everybody in the bracket and win an Eastern States title. 118 pounds. Matt Marlowe, Northport, Section 11. He had consistently been one of the best in New York State. He's the returning 118-pound Division I state champ. So I think he can battle his way through this bracket. This bracket features a middle school NHSCA All-American or Virginia Beach All-American, and was also a 2-time state champ from Rhode Island. and a few other returning New York State place winners and finalists. But Matt Marlowe, being who he is, how tough he is, I've watched him wrestle a bunch, and he's a returning state champ from last season, so in the same weight class. I mean, he's used to the weight class, he's used to the guys that are there, so I don't see him falling short. I see him winning the whole thing. Honorable mention, James Carlock, a boy from Collegiate, New York City, Manhattan. That's a private school, but having placed at states last year, he took 7th, I believe, and winning matches in just about every major tournament from February till now, and he was at BC East recently. I can see James representing NYSAIS, that's the private school acronym for the private schools in New York State, NYSAIS, and most importantly, New York City very well by battling his way to a spot on the podium this year. So private schools in New York State get to wrestle in the public school state championship, which is why for the past few years, collegiate high school has foregone going to prep nationals and such. They've been coming into public school state championships, which in a way is for the better. Increased level of competition in some ways. 126 pounds, Joe Manfredi, Herrick, Section 8, is returning New York State champ, having won it last season at 110 pounds, capping off of a 50-0 season. 50-0. In a bracket featuring 2 other returning New York State finalists and the returning New York State champ at 132, who was originally in this bracket, but he's out with an injury. So that was Max Gallagher. If Max Gallagher was still wrestling in this tournament, I think everybody picks Max Gallagher to win. So best wishes again to Max Gallagher. I reached out to him personally. Appreciated that. And yeah, I just hope Max, recovers because he would have definitely went in there and just won the whole thing. But with him being out of it, I see a very cool semifinals match and finals match pitting Manfredi against the other 2 returning New York State finalists, both with Manfredi coming out on top and becoming the Eastern States champion. Honorable mention, Gus Harmon, Moro, that's in Brooklyn, New York City, PSAL. Gus has been battling to get better and better this past year, competing at as many high-level tournaments as he can. I remember the summer 2021, I got to train and go live with Gus quite a lot. We were in the same club room at his club, Elite Wrestling Academy, down in Sheepshead Bay in Brooklyn. And I got to roll around with him, be in the same room with him a bunch. So I've gotten to see a lot of Gus's progress. And the fact that he's consistently been going to high-level tournaments for a while, I could see him upsetting and surprising a lot of people and battling his way to a podium finish. It'll be a battle, but I think he could do it. 132 pounds, Jason Quake, Brentwood, Section 11. If that name sounds familiar, that's because he's a part of a YouTube series called The Grind, hosted by Coach Jason Layton, Team Dynamic, which is also the wrestling club that Jason Quake is a part of, aside from the Scholastic wrestling team. And me and a lot of other people have gotten to see the progression of Jason Quake. Being a big fan of the show, and I'm a fan of Jason Quake as well. His progress up to this point has been very good. And I know that Massachusetts' Tyler Knox is going to be the favorite, especially for a friend of mine that resides in Massachusetts, but he wrestled in Rhode Island, but he resides in Massachusetts. If he's watching this, he knows what I'm talking about. I know he's definitely rooting for Tyler Knox. Probably knows him personally. I understand the accolades and such, but I'm here to talk about my state. Here to talk about New York. And I feel that based on Jason Quake's progression, right? Based on his placement finish at the state tournament last year, and based on all the upsets that we keep seeing all over the place so far this season, on all levels, college, the senior level, like we've seen a lot of upsets everywhere. So I think based on all that and Jason's own skills as well and his intestinal fortitude, I really feel that this will be no different. Jason Quake is going to go out there. He's going to upset Tyler Knox. It'll be a battle, but he's going to use that intestinal fortitude that he has. He's going to upset Tyler Knox in the finals. That's my prediction. Or wherever he sees him, he's going to upset him, make his way to the finals, and become nation state champion. 138 pounds. Nick Noto. Great Falls, Lima, Section 5. Yeah, all the Noto brothers are related, which means it's bad news for a lot of people. For pretty much the same reason as Chris Noto. Noto is a Noto brother. He's returning New York State place winner. All the Notos are really good, so I don't see any reason why he can't go out here and win Eastern States. Honorable mention, Cameron Mayfield, Eagle Academy, SAL. Most importantly, Bronx. That's where I'm from. I wrestled in Manhattan in high school. I don't know if I mentioned this before, but I wrestled in Manhattan, but Bronx person. I live in the Bronx, grew up in the Bronx, born and raised, still live in the Bronx. So my heart's always going to go to the Bronx wrestlers for them a little bit harder. And Cameron Mayfield, he is a returning New York State placer. Let's not act like he's not. All right. And he wrestles for a team in Eagle Academy that has previously had Eastern State champions, state champions, state placers across the board. Like Eagle Academy, they're no stranger to success at higher level tournaments. That's mostly due to their coaching staff, John McGarry and Jonathan Corey. And Corey wrestled for Long Beach during his high school career. So, a lot of these guys, there's some Long Beach guys in there quite a bit. So, pretty sure Corey's giving Cameron some pointers. But I really feel that based on the consistent success of Eagle Academy at tournaments like this, Daniel Rose, Daniel Bogey, Jason Gomez, right, and some others placing at states and such like that, I think Cameron Mayfield should be able to battle his way through this bracket and get on the podium this weekend. That's just like, you could transport Cameron to the podium right now. Like, he's going to get on the podium at Asian States at 138 pounds. 145 pounds. Owen Hicks, Fonda, Fultonville, Johnstown, Section 2. So, along with Cameron Catcherbone of Section 6, Hicks is a returning New York State place winner. However, Hicks wound up earning a higher spot on the podium, placing fourth at the 2022 Division II New York State Championships, while Catcherbone, on the Division I side of things, wound up taking sixth. And I don't want to hear about the whole D2's automatically worse than D1 nonsense, because Kyle Dake is a D2 wrestler. Kyle Dake. So that should say enough. But a potential battle for supremacy, nonetheless, a potential battle for supremacy between the two top ranked, because right now they're both top ranked in 145 New York State wrestlers from each division. And with all due respect to Cameron Catcherbone, I've rolled around with him before, watched him train. His work ethic it's borderline insanity how hard he works. He reminds me of me. I wasn't great or anything, but I'm just saying, he reminds me of me. The stuff that I would do to try and get to that level, the stuff he did when he was already pretty good and then eventually got to where he's at right now, the way he trains and such, it reminds me of me and a few other people. Because some people they're just talented to where they don't have to work extremely hard, but some people have to work extremely hard to get really good. But even if they never get good like me, at least they know that people can respect the fact that they work extremely hard. And that's something I respect about Cameron Catchpole, that he works extremely hard. And it'll be a good match if they see each other in the finals. But looking at, prior results from the prior season, that's how I have to look at it from a journalist perspective. Even though they're in separate divisions, Hicks got on a higher spot in the podium at the state championships last year, and Cameron got a lower spot. Right? Yeah, Cameron's ranked nationally, but I mean, gotta that's a little subjective because it's like not everybody's seeing everybody at every single tournament. No, you're not gonna see everybody at every single tournament, so you can be nationally ranked. That's great, but head to head, I think Owen Hicks is gonna get the job done against Cameron, and he's gonna wind up winning an Eastern States championship. You know? So hey, it'll be a good match wherever they end up in the tournament. But and with all due respect to Cameron, I think Hicks gets it done. Gets it done. 152 pounds. Devon Bogey of Eagle Academy. Again, Eagle Academy. PSAL. I put an asterisk here in my notes. Or Sean Tansey of Collegiate High School, United States, Manhattan. So I'm picking between those two. I've mentioned before that I can't pick between them. I can't. Cool with them both. I've gotten to roll around with them both. I know both of their coaching staff very well. Well, I know the assistant collegiate coach very well, Emerson Miranda. I don't know the head coach, but I know Corey McGarry very well. Obviously, they've known me for years. Obviously, and I've been an Eagle a million times. So, like, I have a good feel for the coaching staff. I know a lot of the teammates and such. I've rode around with their teammates. I rode around with them. So, I mean, I really can't pick between them, but I really feel that what they got to focus on is Casper Stewart because he's most likely going to be the one to beat in the finals. Whichever one gets to the finals, if it's not both of them. So if it's Casper versus one of them in the finals, I see a great semifinal match between number 5 ranked Devon Bogey and number 2 ranked Sean Tansey. But if one of them takes out Stewart in the semis, right, then it's the Bronx versus Manhattan for the Eastern States Championship. That'll be a great match. 160 pounds, Jack Forte, Clark, Section 8, the highest placing all the returning New York State place winners in this bracket. So based on that alone, I don't see why Forte can't build on that previous success in a smaller and not terribly stacked bracket. With all due respect to all the other 160-pound wrestlers in this bracket, I really don't see Jack Forte struggling very much to become the 160-pound 2023 Eastern States champ. You know, he got the highest spot on the podium at States last year, and this could just be a tune-up in a way, not to degrade the other wrestlers in his bracket, but like a pump up. Like this is gonna be like you're getting ready to win a state title next month. 172 pounds, it's a toss up. I predict it's another battle of the New York State divisions. This time with 2 returning New York State champs. Section 8's Justin Soriano Clark up against Section 5's Braden Woodard from Kennesaw Greenwood. 2 state champs going at it. 2 state champs from 2 different divisions going at it. That's going to be very interesting. 189, Elijah Diakomahalis. You guys recognize that last name? Yes. He is the 3rd brother, the youngest brother of Yanni Diakomahalis. and the brother right below Greg Diakomahalis. So yeah, he comes from that lineage. Tilton High School, same school, Section 5. So he placed at states last year, and we all know the lineage he comes from. And the number one guy that was there from Manhasset, he's out. He's out. Maybe he got hurt. Maybe that's the case, similar to Max Gallagher. So my best wishes to the original number one guy from Manhasset. And also, again, my best wishes to Max Gallagher. Hope they recover and have a full, safe recovery. Hopefully they're ready by freestyle season. So, but with the number one guy out, I really don't think, not to be arrogant, but I don't think it'll be too hard for Eli to get the job done. I really don't. And I'm not going to be so fixated on his lineage and his last name. That'd be professional here. But even still, whether it's to be professional or not, he's really good in his own right. And I think this is going to be like a somewhat of a breakthrough year for somewhat of a breakthrough tournament for him to try to not catch up, but to try to be motivated by his older brothers to really get to those high heights that they've been at. So I think that motivation there, as the younger sibling myself, I definitely know what that's like to have people to be motivated by something that has to do with them. They're above you. Definitely know what that's like as a younger brother myself. So I think Eli's gonna use that mentality and he's gonna get the job done at Eastern States. 215, Ethan Gallo, Menacing Valley, Section 9. A Menacing Valley stud not named PJ. Returning New York State champ and currently ranked in the country. Similar to his teammate, PJ Duke. I think Gallo gets that ranking just a bit higher this weekend. I think he's too good to not win an Eastern State set. That's what I believe. I think he's too good to not do it. And last, but certainly not least, 285 pounds. Christian Solano, Eagle Academy, PSAL. Once again, the Bronx. I talked about Eagle a bit earlier, obviously. Talk about the honorable mention, Cameron Mayfield. And also talking about Devon Bogey being a possible Eastern State champ. But now I'm predicting another winner, right? Because I was kind of tied between Devon Bogey and Sean Tansey. But now I'm like dead set that Christian is gonna become Eastern State champ. So he's a returning New York State place winner. And he has a bracket featuring two New York State finalists, returning New York State finalists. I really think Solano has what it takes to rise to the occasion and bring back an Eastern State's title to Eagle Academy. Bring back an Eastern State's title to the PSL. I really think he can do that. He's been getting better and 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 making jumps. So making the jumps that he's made, I really do believe that he will come out on top as the 2023 Eastern State champ. So those are my predictions. This has been episode 52 of Techfall Tabletalks. I'm really looking forward to the Eastern State Championships. I might not be able to watch everything live because I gotta work and all that. So maybe Saturday I'll be able to catch everything live, but Friday I won't be able to see anything Friday. Not much anyway, but Saturday I'll definitely be able to. I'll play catch up in the morning right, but I'll definitely be able to see the finals live, definitely. But yeah, it'll be a really fun tournament to watch, and I'm looking forward to it as well as all of you. Good luck to the guys I mentioned in these predictions. I hope my predictions are right. No pressure. But yeah, thank you guys for listening to this episode. like, share, subscribe, all that. And hey, the Empire State, all 5 boroughs, everywhere upstate, Long Island, get it done this weekend.